Hello and welcome to the very first ever class of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Hello, everybody. Seriously, hello to all of you watching live, all of you who will probably be watching this on YouTube, probably in bed or on the toilet tomorrow. Just welcome to everybody. So, let's talk about the Hall of Fame for a minute before we get into our wonderful program. So, what is this? What happened? How does this happen? So basically, the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame was put together as an idea from me. So back in January, I created another event, the Muppet Twitter Awards, and I really liked that event. I kind of wanted to, for lack of a better word, ride the high of that event for just a little longer. And so I was like, what's another event we can do to celebrate the Muppet fan community? And I had this thought on the day they announced the nominations for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I was like, wait, a Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. That's perfect. So here's how the nomination process happened. There was a public forum where people could submit people to be nominated. This forum was up for about a month and had exactly, I believe, 40 individual nominations. That doesn't mean 40 people. That just means 40 forms were filed. There was one person who actually had 5 different people nominate them in the forum. That was crazy. All sorts of stuff. Then a committee was put together. This committee was initially 10 people, but then because of personal drama, it went down to 8. Apart from myself, none of the committee members have been revealed. It's all anonymous, but trust me, these are some good people in the Muppet fan community. And so we put all the names together in a form and had a first round of voting. After that first round, the full list of about 30 people who were nominated for the Hall of Fame was chopped down to a short list. And then that short list is where we got our nominees for tonight. So before we move on, I would just like to briefly thank the committee. Obviously, I can't share who they are because of, like I said earlier, it's all anonymous. But I know they're probably watching this at home or whatever. I don't know if any of them are here tonight, but I know they're probably going to watch this later. So I just want to say thank you to the committee for helping me put this up. So then we decided on a list of 12 inductees, 12 wonderful, Muppetational, celebrational, inspirational people that we feel best reflect the Muppet fan community. And they are our 2 celebrity inductees, Yvette Nicole Brown and Bobby Moynihan, our 2 professional inductees, and by professional I mean people who regularly work with the Muppets, Matt Vogel and Dave Goelz, and last but certainly not least, our 8 general inductees, the Muppet fans with the boots on the ground that best represent the Muppet fan community. And our 8 first-class inductees are Joe Hennis, Ryan Rowe, Danny Horn, Christopher Smiglio, Jared Fairclough, Ryan Dozier, J.D. Hansel. No, that's not it. I feel so bad. Wait. This wasn't planned, I promise. Joe, Ryan, Jared, Ryan, Danny, JD, Joshua Gillespie, who's literally staring right at me, and I feel so bad. Anyway, so these are the people who we've loved more than anybody else in the Muppet fan community. These people make us stand up and say that we love them. And we'll stand up and holler for more because these people have a home at the Magic Store. So join me in congratulating the first ever class of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Woo! Yeah. Okay, so our first presentation. Now it's time to actually get these people inducted. Our first presenter tonight is an inductee himself. You know him for his long period of time working for the Muppet Mindset. You know him for his current period of time working for Tough Pigs, along with many other projects. So please welcome our first presenter, Jared Fairclough.
Please, stay seated. Stay seated. I'm here to induct my very good friend. Thank you very much, Mr. Ryan Dozier. Now, I haven't written anything for him. I will talk about him a little bit when I do my speech a little later on. But I did speak to Ryan, and Ryan wrote something. He can't be here, unfortunately, but he did write something for me to read out to you all. And now I've lost it. Here we go. All right, I'm going to move this over here so I'm at least vaguely looking at the camera. This is me getting into character as Ryan Dozier. Let me just get into character. Oh, I'm going to tweet like I'm Rizzo the Rat, even though Rizzo's not around anymore. Nailed it. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank my fellow Muppet fans. Without this great community, nothing I've accomplished would have been possible. When I first started the Muppet Mindset, which must have been 50 years ago, I never imagined I would one day be honoured like this. It is truly baffling to me that I'm being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame, both because I can't believe such a thing exists and because I've been invited into it. I first became a Muppet fan when I was introduced to the original Muppet Babies, what must have been 100 years ago. But I first became part of the Muppet fandom in 2005 when I joined the Muppet Central Forum with the username The Prawn Cracker. My life hasn't been the same since, thank goodness. Joining this wonderful community has led me to lifelong friends, endless laughs, and somehow my dream job. Yeah, right. What a whirlwind. So to all my fellow inductees and honorees, I say the most heartfelt congratulations. Can't wait to see you all at the after party, but I hope Jared isn't there. Not very nice. My thanks to the selection committee, Muppets No Context, and all of the Muppet fans out there who make my job easy and my life a joy. You're the absolute best fans in the world. Let's all go throw some penguins, catch some chickens, and keep chasing that rainbow connection. And that is all Ryan wrote.
Thank you very much for that, Jared. And more importantly, it is my honor to say that we have just inducted Ryan Dozier into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. So thanks for that, Jared. Our next presenter is myself. Now, just like the Muppet Twitter Awards back in January, sadly, a lot of these presentations will have to be done by myself. I hope they're good, but I contacted a lot of people and just people couldn't make it, which is perfectly fine. But anyway, so here we are. It comes a time in every Muppet fan's life when they dream about starring in a Muppet production. And Yvette Nicole Brown has reached that dream by having a featured role in a Muppet production. She, of course, recently played a taxi driver in the amazing special Muppets Haunted Mansion. And even before that, she always maintained a loving, caring, and hopeful enjoyment for the Muppets and has always wanted to work with them. She recently even came up to more prominence in the fandom when she purchased one of Emily Engel's Muppet replicas, and that went a little Muppet Twitter viral, which was funny. So it is, of course, my absolute honor and pleasure to induct Yvette Nicole Brown into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Sadly, obviously, Yvette Nicole Brown could not be here tonight. She is probably starring in some movie right now or show or whatever. She's a celebrity. Celebrities don't have time for Twitter Hall of Fame awards. but I gotta find it. She did respond to the initial tweet, and I would like to read that respond. It's very brief, but I would like to read it. Aw, thanks for including little old me. I love the Muppets. Short but sweet, and it was nice to know that she knew of this honor. So that was very great. Our next presenter is again me. I accidentally double booked myself a couple times tonight, but it is what it is. This speech is much longer though, because this is a very important fellow. All right. I'm gonna do a little something fun. We're gonna have a little Muppety fun here, if I may. I'm gonna go into my little computer thing, and I'm gonna open up toughpigs.com. Now, toughpigs.com is, of course, the most well-known and beloved Muppet fan website. A lot of people tonight who are being inducted have something about toughpigs.com. Now, what's the first thing you see when you open toughpigs.com? It's not an ad. It's not one of the thousands of lovely articles that have been written for the site over the years. It's this little picture of Miss Piggy and a couple of her pigs in bikers outfits over the beautifully bold Tough Pigs logo, with Kermit and the little O all squeamish. That's an iconic piece of Muppet fan art. And no. I think, and I might be overstepping when saying this, I think that's the most iconic piece of Muppet fan art. Every Muppet fan knows what that image looks like. And who designed that image? None other than Chris Smigliano, much more commonly known as simply Smig. Smig has made hundreds, maybe even thousands of pieces of Muppet fan art over the years. His style is unique and easy to spot and just simply beautiful. He's also very funny. Most of his illustrations are comics and little cartoons, and they are hilarious to read. I highly recommend everybody listening to this take some time, go through his back catalog on Twitter. You will not be disappointed. His stuff is truly great, and he is truly one of the most important, well-known, and beloved Muppet fan artists. And I think he is a great inclusion as the sole Muppet fan artist as in this first class. Trust me, future classes, more Muppet fan art hopefully will be coming down the pipeline. But until then, it is with an absolute honor that I induct Chris Smigliano, more commonly known as Smig, into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Now, I have spoken to Smig, and he is very proud of this honor, but sadly, he could not be here tonight. But I'm sure if he did, he would not give a speech and just draw something beautifully instead. No, he probably would give a speech. Anyway, what just happened? Oh, Muppet. Okay. Anyway, our next presenter is, would you look at that, a Muppet fan artist? I didn't even plan that. Right after I induct a Muppet fan artist, we're going to hear from a Muppet fan artist. So please welcome one of Muppet Twitter's just great art. This guy has great art as well. Some of the best fan art on Muppet Twitter. Please welcome Richard Gomez, also known as Starman.
Hi. Yeah, Richard Gomez looks great. Thank you. I am so honored to be here in my little mustache and full coat. Tonight I'd like to honor and induct our very own. He's done a lot of things over the years, many of which I have not been a part of the Muppet fandom to witness, but I'm so honored to be able to be here to. Oh no, is my internet okay?
It's a little choppy, but you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, yeah. So he's been a part of a lot of things related to the Muppet fandom over the years. I haven't been here for all of them, but I've been honored to witness some of the most crazy and wild of them this year or so, including the Bad Henson history account and the Bad Henson Bistro account, which I had a small hand in art-wise, and I really enjoyed helping out with that. He's been a real just welcoming figure in helping me become part of the Muppet fandom, and I really appreciate him, J.D. Hansel.
Hey, thank you. It's such an unbelievable honor to be included in such an incredible group of creators, many of whom have shaped my sense of humor and changed my life for the better. Okay. See, I wasn't quite sure how to do this. Should I read my speech and show you this crazy background I made at the same time, or do them separately? Well, it's done now. I want to thank everyone who supported me through all my various Muppety projects across so many platforms, and I'd like to specifically thank Jared Fairclough, Chris Harris, Joe Hennis, Drew Relane, Thomas and Ethan, and Jam Hansen. Shout out to the hosts of Muppet Fans Talking, and to one Frank Oz, who was kind enough to respond to my writing about him for Bad Henson Bio with these lovely reviews that are truly just the nicest things anyone's ever said about my writing. I hope that everything I've done in the Muppet fan community has made Jim Henson's message loud and clear. Love and forgive everybody. It's a good life, and you'll never get out of the cube. Thank you.
And it is, yeah.
I would smile, but the glued on mustache makes it hurt every time my lips go up. So, just, that really warmed my heart.
We're all smiling for you, Richard. Thank you, Richard, for that induction. And of course, Welcome to the Hall of Fame, JD Hansel. Our next presenter is a fellow Muppet Twitter user. You know him as the GIF-meister of Muppet Twitter, for lack of a better word. Please welcome Sam from the Muppet Gift of the Day. GIF, not gift. There's no T. The Muppet GIF of the Day.
Hi everybody. I'm Sam from Muppet Gift. Muppet GIF of the Day. How can I mess that up? Anyway, I'm here to say a few words about one of tonight's inductees in the professional category. Matt Vogel has been a Muppet performer for over 25 years and is currently one of the core puppeteers at Muppet Studios and the puppet captain, a frequent director, and one of the core puppeteers on Sesame Street. Over the years, he's taken on such iconic roles as Big Bird, The Count, Floyd, Uncle Deadly, Constantine, New Zealand, 80s Robot. There's another one. I'm sorry. It's just slipping my mind for some reason. Do you have any idea who it might be? No. It'll come to me. It'll come to me later. Anyway, point is, he does a lot of characters, and they are all wonderful. But before any of that, he was a Muppet fan just like the rest of us. And maybe that's part of why he, even now as a professional, continues to take time out of his busy schedule, when he can, to interact with the Muppet fan community in various ways, whether it's through his social media accounts, whether it's through the various interviews that he's done with Muppet fan sites like Tough Pigs and the Muppet Mindset, or through his podcast, Below the Frame, which gives us all a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Muppet productions by in-depth interviews with Muppet performers and other people who help bring the Muppets to life. So what else can I say but welcome to the Muppet Hall of Fame, Matt Vogel. And I'm just really sorry I couldn't remember that other character you do. It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. It's you sure you don't know? Yeah, that's fine, Kermit. Kermit! Oh my gosh, I almost forgot he does Kermit the Frog. Kermit, since you're here, you wanna say anything? All right, here we go. Hi-ho! Kermit the Frog here, and I wanna congratulate Matt Vogel on joining the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Yeah! Well said, Kermit. Well said.
Kermit the Frog, everybody! And also, woo! Thank you so much, Sam from Muppet GIF of the Day, for that great speech. Obviously, Matt Vogel could not be here tonight. He's probably currently filming Muppets Mayhem right now. There's less than a 0 chance that he's filming that right now. Maybe? I don't know. Probably. What time is it in LA? Do they shut down work at a certain time? It's 5 and who knows? Hopefully he's not working. But anyway, he's not here tonight, but I'm sure if he was aware of this, he would be very appreciative. Looking at the schedule up, our next presenter is Muppet Twitter's resident banjo man. And you also might recognize him from the wonderful documentary, The Making of the Great Muppet Mural, which of course he hosted. Please welcome Lucas Ross.
Oh, woo! Hi. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? Thank you so much for this award. I'm speechless. No, actually, I have a speech, and I think my words would be best described from the holiest book for Muppet fans when I say these words that ring true today just as much as they did when they were said on a family-friendly television show in the 70s. Wow, you got a great pair of legs. In fact, you got 2 great pair of legs. Hey, wouldn't you like to go into show business, would you? Would you at least have dinner with me? Promise? Do you remember that? That was said by Gonzo. It was really good. Anyway. What? Oh, they already did a gag where they were talking off camera? Okay, I guess this is not for about me. So I have a speech down here somewhere. I mean, heaven forbid me assume that I would be getting any kind of award or anything. I don't know where my speech is, around here somewhere. It's like, let me just move some stuff here. Hold on just a second. I don't even know where he. This is embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Is my camera still on? I don't even know what to do. Oh, peasants, will you take these? Here it is. Here's my speech. Okay. Jared. Is it me? Jared Faircloud.
We're playing you off. Let's just get to my speech.
Out of all of the great guys that have ever come from a different part of the country, talking about Texas, Jared is a class act. What a guy! A guy that steps in and takes over a website, and then it gets bought out by another website. Jared, when I think about you, I think about the words that you told me. Don't ever use any excuse, no matter what, to name drop senselessly. And that reminds me of the time that Steve Martin said, "Hey, how did you get my home address?" Jared is one of us, but also not. Jared is not from this earth. While we all think that we're all Muppet fans here together, Jared is this crazy, weird. I don't know why I'm looking at this. I don't have anything written down. Jared does commercials and puppeteers and writes. He, because of his accent, which I believe is Texas, he makes me think of John Oliver because I'm dumb American and we just group everybody together, right? But I think he's funnier than him. His timing, his delivery is excellent, and I can't wait to see what he does. And I really hope that he pulls me up along with him. Congratulations and welcome to the first class. What is this? Oh, I thought I was going to talk about my timeshare opportunity. What call is this then? Hello? Okay. I should wrap it up. Johannes is getting antsy. Congratulations, Jared Fairclough.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucas, for that lovely introduction. I'm sorry for locking you in that room on April Fool's Day. I was a big fan of your work in Master of Disguise. All right, let me just grab my speech up. You're welcome. All right, I'm going to again drag this over so at least vaguely looking at the camera. And I've made that speech far too large. There we go. Thank you very much. I love being a Muppet fan. I love being associated with these characters, with these people in any way. So to be recognized and inducted into a Muppet Fan Hall of Fame is both touching and surreal. I'm a guy who was born and raised in a place called the Mornington Peninsula here in Melbourne. Google it, we have great wineries. I'm a million miles away from the rest of you. There is no reason whatsoever that some guy from Australia should be associated with this franchise in any way. But this community of people were so supportive that it sort of pushed me to elevate myself to a point where I've been, lucky, fortunate enough to get myself a seat at the table, both within, the fan community and the professional Muppet community as well. When I was, apologies, COVID, when I was asked to take over the Muppet Mindset, I had absolutely no idea it would lead to the life I have today. I've been able to do, as Lucas said, professional TV puppetry work because people know who I am because of this fandom. I've met some of my closest friends doing this, 99% of which I've never been in a room with. Like, I run Tough Pigs with Joe and Ryan. I've technically, literally never met them. Literally never been in a room with either of them. But I want to thank you, Muppets No Context and the Hall of Fame committee for including me in this, and to Muppets Twitter for being a thing. I was never really on Twitter much as myself when I had the Mindset account, because I used that. I sort of found this weird little community, and I'm very appreciative of all of you. I just want to quickly congratulate all the other inductees. I want to single out just a couple. I say a couple, there's 4. Firstly, Ryan Rowe is the most unflappable man I've ever known. And when Joe and I are in like a mad panic to get things done, it's reassuring having Ryan there who just like solves it with one recommendation. Number two, I feel like a hipster when it comes to JD Hansel, because I knew how funny and smart he was a long time before the rest of you seemed to catch on. I know he feels a little like an imposter being included with all of us tonight, but mate, you deserve it. Number three, Ryan Dozier gave me a website, and in doing so, gave me an entire world of opportunity. But he isn't here, so screw him. Number four, Joe Hannes is one of my favorite people on this earth, and I'm extremely honored to not only work alongside him, but call him one of my best friends. I promise I'll wrap it up now. I've got to do a lot of very cool things because of this fandom, like, you know, interviewing Cookie or Abby or Kermit or Elmo, whoever, or doing, you know, to introduce our guest star, season 2 coming soon. Every time I've done one of these things, like look into Kermit's ping pong eyes or ask Paul Williams, you know, the meaning behind Rainbow Connection, I've always allowed myself just one moment, a single second, just to like leave my body and to think to myself, this is freaking cool. And so being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame on day one of its existence, no less, with people I admire, respect, love, and support, I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to minimize this now. I don't need it anymore. To leave my body and just sit here in this moment and go, this is freaking cool. Thank you very much.
And it is an absolute honor to say Hall of Famer Jared Faircloth. I would like to apologize briefly for that random music. I let somebody else in, and that happens with Google Meet. It's called meet bombing, where people will just join random Google Meets that they'll hack into and get the code. And I apologize. I probably won't let anybody else in for the rest of this. My fault. But anyway, thank you for that, Lucas. And again, congratulations to Jared.
I am so offended.
I'm offended as well. Our next presenter is little old me. So let me pull up my very brief speech. So I think something that I think everybody in this room has probably wanted to do at some point is host their very own episode of The Muppet Show. To see what sketches and songs you would sing, to see how the plot line would go out. And very few people in the last 50 years have been able to do that. The Muppet Show have been off the air since 1981. And has there been other Muppet projects since then? Of course there has, but there hasn't really been too many things like The Muppet Show, except for maybe Muppets Tonight in the 90s and the Muppet live shows of the O2 and the Bowl. The O2 in London, and of course the Bowl in California, Hollywood Bowl, not just the Bowl. And who got that golden opportunity to do what every Muppet fan has ever dreamed to do and host their very own episode of The Muppet Show? None other than our next inductee, Bobby Moynihan. Bobby Moynihan got to do the impossible and host his own episode of The Muppet Show. 2 times. He got to host his own episode of The Muppet Show, not once, but twice. That's all I can say. The man is a huge Muppet fan. He's constantly talking about the Muppets. He loves them so much. So it is with my honor to induct Bobby Moynihan into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Now, of course, Bobby could not be here tonight, but I do know that he's aware of the awards, and I'm sure he's very grateful. Our next presenter is a good a Muppet Twitter person. So I recently tweeted that I was looking for people to help me induct people in the Hall of Fame. I was like, hey, if any big Dave Goelz fans are around, DM me and we'll talk. And so our next person was a huge Dave Goelz fan, and so to induct Dave Goelz in the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame, please welcome your friend and mine, Bird.
Hi. Okay, so I'm inducting Dave Goelz, who is a celebrity. So obviously he can't be here. He's not, on social media, but I'm so certain that if he was here, he would be having so much fun. You're all just so funny. I've been laughing like the entire time, but I've been on mute. So I wanted to start off by telling you a little bit about him. He started his career as an industrial designer in Silicon Valley, but in interviews he explains that he wasn't really satisfied with that job. There was something missing. And one day, while flipping through TV channels, he found that missing piece. You know, he found that part of him that he just hadn't seen in a while. And he found it watching Sesame Street, which was airing. And like us, he instantly became obsessed with it. He became a huge fan of the Muppets. So much of a fan that I'm sure some of you can relate to this. He made his own puppets. He made his own replica Ernie just by watching Sesame Street on TV. And I think he said in an interview this was in a time when he couldn't like pause and go back. He just had to watch the screen and remember all the details. And he started bringing that Ernie to work and to parties, and everybody was instantly impressed. You know, he said he had a little bit of a knack for it, but never really felt like a puppeteer until like years into his job. But like if you knew him and you saw him perform, you would know that he definitely was from the very beginning. People were just enamored with his characters. And this continued, and he continued to do this, but feels sort of, you know, unsatisfied with his job and making occasional trips out to do commercial work, which you can find some of his ads on YouTube. I might post a link to that later because they are very fun. Until one fateful day, Frank Oz was doing like a conference or something where he was performing puppets. And Dave got there incredibly early and got up on the floor above to look through a glass wall with binoculars and stare down at Frank like a stalker to watch him perform instead of watching the puppets. And then he found Frank after the performance and was like, I have to know like this, and this, and asked all these puppet questions, which Frank couldn't really answer because he didn't build puppets. But he got invited to go to Sesame Street, and from there, you know, he brought his puppets, and the talent was immediately recognized. And, you know, I think we all know the story from here. He just kept meeting people and eventually got hired as a puppet builder and then as a performer. And then he went on to create the characters we all know and love, you know, like Gonzo and Boober and so many more. And that's really what I want to focus on, because those characters, I feel like, are so important to us because they gave us permission to be weird and strange and unusual, and they let us be vulnerable and accepting of our flaws and emotions. And he gave, you know, being misunderstood and feeling alone like a sort of a bright side. He softened the blow, and he made us all more comfortable in our own skin and more able to be, you know, who we are. And I think, you know, for the help that he's given us all and the changes he's made in our lives without even knowing, I think he really deserves to be in the Muppet Fans Hall of Fame. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Bird. That was a great speech. It is with honor to say that Dave Goelz is a Hall of Famer in the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. I completely forgot. I meant to pull out this guy earlier. I completely forgot. But anyway, okay. Our next presenter is, for the final time, me. This is the last time I will be presenting. Well, I actually have to double check that because, oh boy. Oh, stupid. You want to double check? Yes, this is my last induction. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I'm going to walk you down a little bit of a path here. Picture this. It's the early 1990s. The 1990s. Long before the days of Hot Pockets. I don't know why it's not Hot Pockets. I'm pretty sure those were in the 90s. Long before the days of the Tickety Talks and Muppet Haunted Mansions and all that stuff. You're a Muppet fan. You're a fan of the Muppets. the internet exists, but it's not very prevalent, and there's no Muppet Twitter or anything like that. But one day you sign up for a Muppet fanzine, a fan magazine made by one person who sends it to your house of all this Muppet content, all these fun Muppet things, news and articles and stuff. And that one person had a name, and that name was Danny Horn. All right. Now flash forward 10 years to 2001. You've been reading this fanzine for a little bit, and eventually you get a computer, or you finally get good internet connection, and you go online and you find a website, a Muppet fan website called toughpigs.com. And then for the next 20 years, toughpigs.com becomes one of the most influential monoliths of the Muppet fan community. So much so that practically every inductee tonight has worked for or with toughpigs.com at some point in their career, which is nuts. And of course, this website had to be created by somebody. And who was that? Danny Horn, the same guy who created the Muppet Zine you read 10 years later. Then you keep reading Tough Pigs throughout the years, and eventually you get a point where Danny steps away and two future legends of the Muppet fan community, Joe Hennis and Ryan Rowe, take over the website, and the rest is history that you'll hear in a nomination or two. But what about Danny? Well, you might have also realized at this time that there wasn't a whole lot of behind-the-scenes info on the Muppets readily available. There were a couple books like of Muppets and Men and Jim Henson's The Works, and a couple PBS specials, but not a whole lot easy to find. So Danny, along with some others, created the Muppet Wiki. And though Danny wasn't the sole creator of the wiki, he was a huge part of a wiki that is so big, has thousands of articles, has been credited by Muppet Projects as a research tool. The Jim Henson Company and other Muppets Projects themselves have used the wiki as a research tool. How cool is that? And who helped created this? Danny Horn. Who created Tough Pigs? Danny Horn. Who sent you that fanzine in the mail 30 years ago? Danny Horn. He is an absolute monolith and treasure in the Muppet fan community. He's not here tonight, but congratulations to Danny Horn for being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Well earned. Well earned. Well earned. Speaking of tough pigs, our next presenter is one of the toughest pigs around. I just name dropped him a couple minutes ago. Please welcome, I don't need to give him a fancy introduction. You know who this guy is. Please welcome Joe Hennis.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Hennis. Apparently, I'm very famous. People keep saying my name on this award show. I am very proud to be introducing the next honoree, who has been one of my best friends in Muppetdom for years and years and years. I would like to share a story, actually, about how he and I first met, which I don't think I've ever shared publicly before. I was a struggling musician in rural Florida on a cross-country bicycle trip. He was bartending and doing prop comedy at one of the seediest bars I have ever seen. We actually got involved in like this big bar fight. We barely escaped by the skin of our teeth. But he ended up joining me on this like impromptu road trip, and we made it all the way to Hollywood, where we signed this rich and famous contract that has kept Tough Pigs in business for all these years. So there you go. That is not entirely true, but it's approximately how it happened. In all seriousness, this honoree has been a huge part of online Muppet fandom ever since there was an online. Tough Pigs definitely would not be around if it weren't for his hard work and dedication, and the Muppet fan community would definitely be a very different place without his influence. I am very proud to introduce my partner in crime for the last 15 plus years, my fellow Tough Pigs co-owner and former roommate, Ryan Rowe.
Thank you. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I had done the exact same joke for my...
I was wondering if you would. Part of me
No.
thought maybe I should tip you off so that we could do
no,
that.
don't.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you. This is an honor. I do want to point out, actually, my cool Fozzie necklace in the style of the hip hop artist Waka Flocka Flame, which my great wife Stacy made for me, and actually Joe helped by providing this Fozzie toy that he didn't care if it was painted gold and given to me. But anyway, I want to thank Muppets No Context and this mysterious anonymous committee for putting this together. I without knowing who they are, I'm just sort of imagining them as a bunch of Muppet penguins. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep that image in my head. I have been a Muppet fan for my whole life, pretty much. My Muppet nerdiness was assured from the beginning by my parents, who always made sure to tape Muppet stuff when it came on TV, and gave me a bunch of Muppet books and toys and Christmas ornaments that make noise when you push a button. And of course, the Muppet print kit for IBM compatible computers in the 90s that let you print Muppet greeting cards on dot matrix printer paper. So this is all thanks to them. So thank you to Mom and Dad. I also want to shout out just the entire Muppet fan community. I've been interacting with Muppet fans online, as Joe alluded to, for a very long time, since back when I had to use AOL to access the Muppets Usenet fan groups. So that's a very long time, and that perhaps tells you that I'm very old. But I've met a lot of my favorite people in the world through Muppet fandom, and it has literally changed my life for the better in multiple ways. I also know that a lot of people who are here today and who are part of the regular Muppet fan discourse online on Twitter and elsewhere are a lot younger than me. So I just want to say it's really encouraging to see that new Muppet fans are still being created every day. I hope everyone keeps watching Muppet stuff and introducing other people to it. So thank you all for existing. And thanks, of course, to Danny Horn for founding Tough Pigs, and for Joe and Jared and all our contributors for keeping the website going. Thanks to everyone who's ever read a Tough Pigs article or liked one of our social media posts or listened to one of our podcasts. I'm honored to be included among all these swell people. And of course, thanks to Prairie Dawn and Grover and Kermit the Frog and Gobo Fraggle and John Hurt as the storyteller. Thank you.
And congratulations to Hall of Famer Ryan Rowe. He was the first Ryan. Woo! Our final presenter tonight is somebody who I don't think anybody's ever heard of. Very obscure person who never spoken in public before. Please welcome an absolute nobody, Ryan Rowe.
What, I got to talk again? All right. So I am here to introduce the next inductee into the Aquaman Hall of Fame. Aquaman fan Hall of Fame. No, sorry, I could see, because the thing is, he also really likes Aquaman, like really, really likes Aquaman. No, I'm here to introduce Joe Hennes, the prolific editor-in-chief and co-owner of toughpigs.com and the co-host and producer of several great podcasts and podcast seasons on the Muppet Fan Podcast with toughpig.com feed. Joe is a good buddy and former roommate of mine, and I'm very happy to see him receive this honor. Because if anyone deserves to be in a Hall of Fame for fans of the Muppets, it's Joe. He's a huge nerd, and we're all the better for it. We've been working on Tough Pigs together for a long time. And really, the fact that the website has consistently produced so much great stuff for so long is because of Joe's initiative and tenacity and motivation and never-ending commitment to being a Muppet fan, expressing his fandom, and sharing that fandom with other people. He's very, very good at celebrating this weird thing that we're all passionate about for some reason. Sometimes in funny ways, sometimes in serious and insightful ways, sometimes in informative ways, sometimes in goofy ways, but he's always very, very good at it. I can also tell you that he's also very good at Super Mario World and making this delicious ranch macaroni and cheese dish. So if there's ever any kind of future Hall of Fame for those things, then he should also get inducted there too. But I'm very happy to be introducing Joe Hennes.
Thank you, Ryan. That was very lovely. I haven't made that ranch macaroni and cheese in probably 15 years. So
well, that is too long.
Well, yeah, we'll do that again. Wow, that was very generous. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you to Muppets No Context. This is such an honor. I wish that there was a real award, so I'm going to use this instead. This is the Fozzie Award. This is the original Fozzie Award from our Fozzie Award ceremony from 2016, I think it was. It almost matches Ryan's necklace. It's very similar. They're not the same Fozzie Bear, but they're very close. Anyway, thank you for this award. Not this award, but thank you for this award that I'm going to pretend is this award. You're following it. Okay. The online Muppet fan community has been a huge part of my life for almost 20 years, more than 20 years. Actually, I think I was on some of those same Usenet groups that Ryan mentioned in his speech. It has given me lifelong friends. It's given me a real purpose to my entire life. And I've even gotten to meet a Muppet or two, which has been just the coolest thing. And everything that we've done through Tough Pigs has been in service of the fan base. All the news, all the podcasts, all the commentaries, all the ridiculous articles and stupid stuff that we've done on social media, it's all not just because we want to do cool things and meet cool people. It's so that we can share them with the folks who will appreciate it the most. And those folks are you. Those are the Muppet fans. People watching this and people who are following any of the Muppet Twitter accounts or posting on Twitter that helped put this award show together. And for the community to recognize us for all the work that we put in over the decades really means everything. You could keep your Emmys, you can keep your Oscars, you can keep your Grammys and Obies and Clios and whatnot. This is all I need. Not this, but the you get what it means. Okay, you're following me. Again, I want to thank Muppets No Context for putting this award show together and for the nomination, and for anyone who maybe put my name or Ryan and Jared and Danny and Smig's names in there for this amazing honor. Of course, thanks to Danny Horn for creating Tough Pigs, to Ryan Rowe and Jared Fairclough. You guys are some of my best friends and amazing partners, and I really can't imagine doing Tough Pigs with anyone but you. Except for all the other people who work on Tough Pigs, all of our great writers, the people who help create our podcast, people who create fan art, people who contribute in any way to making the website what it is. Of course, you're extremely valuable to be into the fandom, and I'm sharing this award with all of you. Again, not this, you. Okay. Thanks to Jim Henson. And, we like that guy. And of all the Muppet performers and writers and designers and so on and so on and so on who have helped to continue this great legacy of what the Muppets represent and what they are capable of. And most of all, thanks to the Muppet fan community, I literally would not be here on this award show or, being the person who I am today if it weren't for your support and your love. So once more, with feeling, thanks to the lovers, the dreamers, and you. Thank you very much, everybody.
And with that, I can now say Hall of Famer Joe Hennis. Well, we've come to the end of another one here, folks. This has been an absolute pleasure of an evening. Normally this would be the part of a thing where I plug stuff. No plugging except for Bobby Moynihan, Yvette Nicole Brown, Dave Goals, of course Matt Vogel, Joshua Gillespie, Joe Hennis, Ryan Rowe, Jared Fairclough, JD Hansel, Danny Horn, Christopher Smiglio, more commonly known as Smig. The other two, no, I there's a lot of people here. Who are the other two? I said everybody who's here, and then Ryan Dozier, and of course JD Hansel. I said JD Hansel already. Danny, I'm just going to start that all over again. Ryan Dozier, Yvette Nicole Brown, Chris Miglio, JD Hansel, Matt Vogel, Jared Fairclough, Bobby Moynihan, Dave Goals, Joshua Gillespie, Danny Horn, Ryan Rowe, and Joe Hennis. That is definitely everybody. There's 12. Also, special extra thanks to Bird, Richard, Sam from Muppet Gift of the Day, and Lucas for giving great induction speeches, and of course Jared, Ryan, and Joe for pulling double duty, which was very kind of you all. Thanks again so much to the committee, who I can't reveal, but I know Thank you so much, committee members, for putting this all together. And please, we're gonna have an after party. If you want to come, it'll be on Spaces in about 5 minutes. I gotta do some stuff first, but it will be live in about 5 minutes. If you want to come, you can. You don't want to come, you don't have to. But thank you all for coming. And this has been the first Clash of the Muppets Fan Hall of Fame. We look forward to seeing you next year. Yeah. Woo!